Are you the type of person that feels like they always need to be on? Like they always need to be rushing through everything? They can't afford to slow down, even when nothing is wrong. You got to understand that this is not productivity. This is hypervigilance. And it comes from two sources. You have internal pressure and external pressure. And the external pressure, this comes from people, it comes from expectations, it comes from deadlines that we have. We try to look busy or get frantic whenever somebody of authority comes around. And we think that this makes us look, like we're on top of things. But really, it just looks frantic and disorganized. And this internal pressure, this comes from the mistakes that we make. And I think a lot of that stuff comes from our childhood. A lot of us were conditioned to get punished after we make mistakes. And so now that we are adults, we have become kind of like masochists. We flog ourselves over and over mentally anytime we do something wrong or we make a mistake. We talk to ourselves horribly. Oh, I always do this. I always fuck things up. Why can't I get it right? I'm so lazy. I'm this, I'm that. It's a horrible way to talk to ourselves. And it's like we make a mistake and we see how this mistake is going to affect us in the future, maybe a week from now. And the window to actually correct that mistake was yesterday. It's said and done. The milk was spilt, you know what I mean? And so we're in the moment trying to figure out what we can do and how we can fix it when we can't. We really can't. All we can really do is take the sting of the mistake, learn the lesson, make sure that it doesn't happen again and move forward. But most of us don't do that. Most of us stay in the loop and we stay in that friction of our mind and just make ourselves miserable. And there's no amount of stress or tension that is going to make the situation better. It's just not. Once we learn the lesson, we just move forward. That's the best thing to do. And really one of the best ways to overcome the mistakes that we make and the hypervigilance that we got going on is really to just slow down. We need to slow our bodies down. We need to slow down the way we speak because hypervigilance, it's really just a dysregulated nervous system. It's a nervous system that doesn't feel safe around people in its environment. We just need to slow down because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. One of the biggest things that has helped me is just starting to move slower than everybody in the room around me. Same thing with your speaking. You want to slow your speaking down and say only the things that need to be said. You don't want the filler words. You don't want the explanations. You don't want the preemptive phrases that are trying to help you brace for impact as you tell somebody bad news. Just say the thing in a slow, calm, contained manner and move in a slow, calm manner. And this is like nervous system 101. A lot of people talk about vibrations, they talk about frequencies. You know what I mean? And when you're always in this heightened state, when you're always vigilant, trying to stay on top of things, speak faster than you know you should, or talk over people or try to prove your point, this is a very, very erratic vibration and it turns people off. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody who needs to be right all of the time? Who can't sit and just listen to the point being made and maybe add or just agree, or they always need to put something on top of it. They need to tell you how you're wrong and they're right and their perspective is correct. And they often get louder than you and they're more aggressive. And it's like these people are sometimes can be insufferable because it's the vibration that they're putting off. And so going slower is the move. And it feels weird because if you're somebody who's always been hyper vigilant, this is, you're not used to it. And so there is a little bit of a weird period where moving slow feels weird. It feels unnatural. Maybe you feel like a imposter syndrome coming on. People are going to look at you weird, especially if it's unnatural, because they're going to be like, what is going on with this person? But I'm telling you, it works because over time, it becomes your new baseline. You start to move a little bit slower and you start to focus a little bit better. Because another thing is that hypervigilant people, they want to get a lot done. And sometimes hypervigilant people will multitask. They'll do 2 or 3 different tasks at one time. Have you ever walked in on somebody who's doing 2 or 3 different tasks at one time? It's chaotic. There's shit everywhere. And it looks like a kid's dirty room. They're playing, there's 3 different battlefields going on in a little boy's room. You know what I mean? And you don't know what's going on. And then, yeah, sure, by the end of it, everything kind of comes together and you end your day with a clean environment after the chaos has been going on. But if you work in a place that is like very visible or very open to the public, that's not the kind of scene that you want to set up. You want to pick a task, you want to focus on it, do it with clarity, with precision, and get it done and finish the task. And even in between tasks, you want to take a break, acknowledge that that one is done and see what you got to do next. What's your next priority? All right, let's move into that one. And it doesn't need to be fast paced or erratic. You just need to have focus and you need to know exactly what you're doing and get it done. And so this is going to help out a lot with that. You know what I mean? You ever be driving and there's just somebody in traffic who is just weaving in and out of cars, almost side swiping people. They're hauling ass, they're slamming on their brakes, they're pissing everybody off. And then we all pull up to the same stoplight 100 meters up the road, and there they are, the jackass. They're usually behind you because they were so erratic, they got in the wrong lane and you pass them anyway. That's what it's like being hyper vigilant. What are you going to do? You're going to save 30 seconds on your commute by being a jackass and driving crazy and weaving in and out of traffic? No. Like, what does that really do for you? It makes you make mistakes. It throws other people off. So it's like, have a sense of calm, know you're going to get where you're going. And Rome wasn't built in a day. Not everything needs to be done in one day. And to be honest with you, the slower you go, the more you're going to actually get done. And so, again, I'll just repeat it. The next time you're at work, you're at the grocery store, around friends and family, take a moment to pause before you even walk into that place. Give yourself some presence, get centered, and walk in with awareness of what you're doing and move at a slow pace. Push your cart slowly and observe people. You're going to observe once you do this that everybody around you is probably more erratic. And you feel calm. You get this sense of control and this sense of strength. And when you speak in a little bit more controlled manner with a lower tone. This puts others at ease around you. What you got to understand is when you enter a room with a calm nervous system and you're the calmest nervous system in that room, every other nervous system in that room links to you. Everybody else's presence is focused on the calmest person in the room. And so it's your job to become that and become the reliable, responsible, efficient person that when you're around, everyone feels a little bit calmer and a little bit safer around. And this alone will change your life. And so I hope this helps you. I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. If you did, please give me a like, give me a subscribe, share it with a friend who needs it. And I hope to see you on the next one. All right. Have a great day. Get outside. Enjoy this beautiful weather. All right. Peace.